Wow, hello everyone! Happy Friday to all of you watching us and to all of you joining us today. So, we're really happy to be here, and it's my first time I'm hosting Devstream, so I'm kind of thrilled about it. Well, before we start, let me address to your concerns about Stan's disappearance. Some people even think that he lost his seats. No, no, and thrice no. So, where is Stan?
He's right here, actually.
Well,
that's like very anticlimactic. He's here with us anyway. So, should we introduce ourselves? Because,
Maybe.
yes, who we are, what are we doing? We're not Stan, clearly, not?
Yeah, I'm
So-
not a Stan.
so who are you?
surely.
It's Lana. It's Lana,
I'm
our
a
community
human.
manager.
I'm a human.
I'm only human. I'm the man. Yes, this is Lana, community manager for War Robots team.
And all of us know Tofsla, so...
Some of you, yeah, some of you do, and it's nice to see you guys. And today we're going to talk about what exactly.
Today we're going to talk about 5.3 update and its main features, operations, new robots, rebalance, and something
All
more.
that stuff, right?
But before we start, as usual, we're going to have a giveaway, so if you want to participate, please write hashtag in the comments, the hashtag WRDevstream,
Your ID
and your platform.
and all that stuff in one single message.
And please don't spam, because spam leads to various problems.
I mean, you could get banned by YouTube as some. We're still figuring out what we can do for people that got banned like 2 dev streams ago.
Yeah.
We are going somewhere because we have finally found the contact with YouTube. So we'll keep you updated. Anyway, yes, it's enough to enter your ID, your platform, and this hashtag only once to enter the giveaway. Doing this more than once doesn't give you any more chances to enter, so please don't spam and better use your precious messaging time to ask maybe some questions, because we will have plenty of time to answer some of them like later in the stream. So
Yep. And today we're going to give...
oh yeah, we have a giveaway. What do we have?
We have 100 tiers and maybe something more.
Cheers. These are robots, basically from
Yeah.
Ragnarok Squad, the blue ones, the ones that heal or repair.
So let's just start.
Operations, right?
Yep. The first part of our stream is
First
operation.
things first.
Yep. So what operations are?
Yeah, maybe some of you already saw that we are preparing some stuff in that direction. You maybe saw the videos by Adrian, by Kitty WR, and other people who actually went really in depth about this thing that we are preparing for 5.3. That is going to get released around in the middle of August. Let's put it that way. It can be. We do not specify the dates because it can release earlier or later in the middle of August. So I'm going to show you what this is all about and basically confirm all the leaks that happened and show you what's going on. So let's show you my screen, what's going on here. I have an early development build where you can see that instead of old premium button here in the corner, you can see the operation button. So if we press this button, we will get to the operation screen. So what do we see here?
Here we see 2 tracks, basically. It's a free track and a gold track.
Yes. In the first track, in the one that is above, you basically, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
For every match, you will be receiving a special kind of experience, like operation experience. And for this experience, you will be receiving operation levels. And for every level, you will receive some kind of reward. For example, here you can see that there's a silver, there's gold, there are keys, there are weapons, components, boosters, like everything.
Oh, and entire robots, an entire...
Yes, this as well. So, for example, the further you go through the track, the better the rewards, obviously. For example, at some point, you will receive special skins, paint jobs. That are only, some of them, they are older ones, but this is another way to get them without spending your gold.
Okay, so Is it a brand new way to get resources and entire items? Am I right?
Kind of, yes. This is similar to battle rewards in many regards. So you also keep fighting, you receive some kind of like experience, honor in case of battle rewards, and operation XP in case of operations. And the only big difference is that operation progress is kind of permanent. Not just permanent, but persistent. That's the right word.
Yeah.
So battle rewards, you go through all the chests and then you start over. Operations, they are split into seasons, and the first season will last about 2 months or so.
And the next?
And the next one perhaps will last about the same time, but the key difference between two seasons is that the amount of rewards you can get. So you have like 2 entire months to get all the stuff that you see here on board. This is basically the point of this thing. Yes, many people have noticed that this is similar to what you could see in some other games, and yes, maybe you already know how it works if you played that.
So, you said that here we can see 2 tracks, a free track and a gold track. For example, I'm playing War Robots. Yeah, I do play War Robots.
Of course you do. We all have to do this here.
So,
this is the obligation.
Just imagine, I'm in the middle of the operation season, and I understand that, for example, I'm on the level 40 on
here
the free
we
track.
have a level 23, for example. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's use it as an example.
And I want to get more. Can I, for example, get a premium pass?
Here we have to dial a little bit back and detail what this second track is.
Yeah.
The first track is available for everyone, and you can just reap the rewards from this thing. The second track is available for purchase, not for gold, unfortunately,
So
for many.
for real money.
Basically, yes. And this thing, I mean, many people in the comments would probably scream, and they do sometimes, yes, like pay to win and stuff, but obviously this thing is very much like the stuff that you could get otherwise. And the thing, like the operation pass that unlocks the second track, is about $15 for 2 months. So you can unlock this, you pay it once and you go with this. So if you don't want it, you can abstain from getting it, it's alright. And if you feel like, for example, you got to this level 23 and you see that if you get the battle pass, I mean operation pass, you will get everything from the second track immediately.
Oh.
So if you want, you can cash in whenever you see fit. If you don't, you shouldn't do this.
So I can keep grinding.
You can keep playing.
Yeah.
Yes. So this thing is all about not just big things let's add something big that people can spend eternity grinding for. No, it's just about the more you play, the more you get from the operations. And this is a good deal for everyone who plays a lot. Maybe a little bit worse deal for everyone who plays not so much. But anyway, if I have Operation Pass, I can get everything from both tracks by pressing this one button, and it's a significant amount, let's put it that way. So we have some more or less basic weapons. We have this Scavenger Griffin.
Wow.
So what this thing is, it's like regular Griffin, but for example, remember Eldritch Ares and Imperial Hades? So this is the similar thing. We can get back to my hangar and see what it is. So Scavenger Griffin is a special edition of regular Griffin that looks like this.
She looks like Mad Max.
Yes, very much. We were really inspired by the idea of adding some kind of post-apocalyptic kind of robot, and we also tied. Yes.
Athletics.
We added some lore ties with some one pilot that you also can get from the operation. But the thing is, it's the same regular Griffin, it's not stronger, it just looks better. And this kind of things is basically what you want your operation for. If you want to look shinier, more trendy and so on and so forth, you go for this kind of griffin because it's just shinier, it's just prettier, and it looks amazing. But there's another thing. Another thing. This is our final prize for the operation. This is, could you guess what robot is this?
Of course, it's my favorite one, it's Aojun.
Yes, it's Aojun. So we made the same kind of like special edition for Aojun. Once again, it's the same Aojun, but it's prettier. It's got an entirely new model. I believe some new effects too, so it's cool. It's just cool to have.
But let's get back to the operations.
Yes, let's go there.
I saw one interesting detail. Here I see daily challenges.
Yes, daily challenges.
So,
what's your question?
What about is it about our daily tasks? I guess our daily tasks were replaced by daily operations challenges.
Yes,
right?
you heard it right. The thing is, we have lots of different places where you can get your items from. You can get items from daily tasks, sometimes you get also event tasks. You also receive clan tasks, there are battle rewards, there are supply drops, and there are now also operations. So we try to put these things together into one place, and we just
like a common hub.
Yes, it's kind of like this. So we took daily tasks and put them into operations. You can only see one daily challenge here. It gives you let's go back to the numbers, because there were a lot of questions about the gold that you can receive from operations.
Because usually I get 60 gold per day.
Yes, this is how much you usually get from your daily tasks, if you complete them, of course, daily. And now how it works. You receive 30 gold, 30 aurum, from daily challenge, and also there's about 2,500 in this free track. So if we split it over like 2 months, it's about like 40 gold a day. So this, and if we also add some other resources that you can receive, like
such as silver components, power cells.
There are no components right now, but they can be there like in next season, for example. But yeah, there are power cells, there are robots, there are also paint jobs. We'll get to that later. There are also power cells, boosters, and so on and so on and so forth. So if we take only this free track, it's about like what you have used to receive from the old daily tasks, plus about 1.5 or maybe even twice than that. So
that's
only from free track. So basically, if you don't want to go for Operation Pass, this is just more rewards for you. That's it.
Yep.
And what we didn't cover yet,
I see
paint jobs.
Yeah, I see beautiful paint jobs, and you mentioned that they're special.
Let's look at it this way. Some of them, they are old. You could buy them before. You could buy them for gold.
Buy gold?
Now you can just receive them from the operation. For example, this one for Lancelot, you've probably seen it. It's like blue with gold. And also there are some new ones. For example, this one for Augwang and this one for Blitz. Let's see them in the real setting. For example, this one is for Blitz, and it looks like some kind of like evil. Maybe what was the right word? Evil overseer, evil, maybe Dark Lord.
From the Lord of the Rings.
It was also inspired by it like heavily, because I mean, why the hell not? You have a robot that has a huge glowing eye. Why not try it like thematically? It's a really fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Another thing that we have is a paint job for Augwan. This one is called, I love to pronounce it like Robobot, because it sounds like really, what's the right word that is not...
Well, it sounds very funny.
It sounds rather dumb, I mean, but it's like, actually it's like Robobot. So if usually you had like your AUG1 in green, now you have it
It's
in
like
metallic. That was actually very cute, and I'm really confused by this. But let's keep going. So the next thing that you could notice here is the bonus that you have with this paint job. So we have this paint job split in two groups. For example, there are like common ones that give you no bonuses whatsoever, and the legendary ones that give you like a small bonus to your stats. So for example, this legendary paint job for AUG1 gives you 5% durability increase. This is something that many people have suggested, which we were considering for quite a while. So we added this, and there's one more thing to mention. As paint jobs are that big of a deal in operations, we also spend some time like refactoring them entirely. So now you can, for example, take, let's say I have two bulwarks.
Two bulwarks, okay.
And what I had to do before, if I want to move one paint job from one bulwark to another, I just basically have to buy this paint job again for another bulwark.
Yeah.
Now I can just, for example, I want to move this paint job from this bulwark to another. I just pick it and I just remove the paint job. I go to the regular one and I can go back to the another bulwark and give the paint job to this one. I mean, it's a small change, but I believe for some people it will be a big deal if they want to play around with their like fashion part of War Robots.
So,
have we covered everything?
No, we don't.
Yes, keep me
I keep leading.
Keep me accounting. Yeah.
So here we see get premium battle. So and usually I get a boost to the experience I gain from the battles. Are there any changes?
Okay, so
Maybe.
yes.
I mean, can I get more operation experience by using
It's
my
like
premium
it's like you
account?
know what I'm going to say. Yes. So of course the operation is something for those who keep playing a lot. I mean, if you want to get as much benefits from as possible, it's for you. I mean, if you want to get as much benefits as possible, you have to play. Not just have, but I mean, you keep playing. But there are obviously some people who want this kind of stuff, like for example these paint jobs and something else. So they have the options, like first they can boost the operation experience to get this kind of stuff like faster. And alternatively, they also receive more operation XP from premium. Premium is the same as it was before in terms of like bonuses and cost. So you, as always, you receive plus faster upgrades. Also, you get more gold, more silver from each battle. You receive more experience, which is redundant for most players right now. So we added another one, and our bonus is basically Operation XP. That you get more, and that's pretty much it.
Well, and the most interesting part for me personally.
Okay.
This operation is called Gathering Storm. Why?
Well, I've expected you to ask me that because we have a script. That's a secret. We shouldn't know that.
Because I'm a robot.
Sometimes I feel like here in this company I'm surrounded by robots. Yeah. Lana is a robot. Stan obviously is a robot as well. He's actually in the workshop. We are going to change some of his gears because
I pretend to be a human, good human.
So yeah, I'm the only humans among the robots. War robots. So a Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm.
Obviously, with our latest forays into the lore and the story, we are, like, let's put it that way, we want to tie as much of it into the grander picture. So, for example, we named this operation and we will give another name to the next operation, to the next season. That will happen around in October, around so. We want to give it some kind of like thematic like cohesion, to find some like common ground to pull this like together. So for example, why this is called like Gathering Storm? Because this is like beginning of something. Like this works on many levels. So for example, it's a first operation, and we're going to release some like story trailers in the upcoming weeks that will tie some of the storylines that we introduced into like one more or less cohesive thing, and we are going to continue with that thing. We will try to find our ways. We actually have some ways in mind to make it so players and pilots or commanders, however you prefer to call yourself, can affect the outcome of the story. So this is like our first, let's put it that way, step in that direction.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the first step. We already made a lot of steps, but yes, calling this Gathering Storm is like, the storm is coming, so something big is going to happen. And yeah, there are some pilots that are going to work in the story. So for example, this person, he's more like
Adam O'Leary.
Adam O'Leary, he's an interesting guy in that regard, that basically he's an ex-soldier that dropped his thing because he wasn't a huge fan of following orders. So he was like, screw the army, I'm going to be a hermit somewhere in the desert. And he made himself basically this griffin, as some of you could have guessed.
So if you're interested in pilot storylines, please write in the comment section. And
it's actually a good idea because we need to move forward to the next topic, and I can talk about the lore and the story and the pilots for like eternity. And if you want to hear more about them, just tell us in the comments, tell us in the chat, and we will get back to this later.
Right. So now let me just sum it up for everyone. So operations are quite similar to battle words. So just playing a game, getting experience, operation experience,
not just regular experience.
Yep. And so it's a brand new way to farm resources, to get entire items like robots and weapons.
Yes, and some of these items are these items that you can get like regularly, but you can get them faster because there's another source for them. But some of these items are like more or less like vanity items. Like for example, we can take this like special griffin or special Audun.
And one season lasts 2 months. And it has its storyline, it has its theme, lore, and as Tofsla has mentioned just before, it has its exclusive paint jobs. So one is the first.
Vanity stuff that I mentioned, yes. So we're saying a lot. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. And the next part is waiting for us. It's new robots.
New robots, my favorite part, because so we have a brand new video about these robots. We are not going to talk about this. We're going just to show them to you, and then we will add some more. So 3 new robots. As we promised, we are going to first. We promised at the beginning of the year that we're going to have like 3 big features in this year. So first big feature were pilots. Second big feature is obviously operations. Third one, we are keeping it secret for now.
No leaks.
Not this time, but soon. And speaking of robots and new weapons, we also said that we are going to split all the new robots in 3 or 4, I believe 3 big releases over the course of the year. So for example, we started with Dragon robots,
dragons.
3 of them. Then Ragnarok Squad, 3 like Scandinavian, Thor, Tyr, Fenrir, and Loki. And now we have a 3rd pack coming. And there are 3 robots. We're going to release 2 at first, but there's going to be a 3rd one a little bit later on. So let's watch the video.
Eye of the Storm entering the network. Look, DSC's gonna announce something big tomorrow. Wonder what that is.
Soldiers, have you ever wished for a robot that could shoot from 4 heavy weapons simultaneously? As always, best engineers of defense and security conglomerate make all your dreams come true. Meet the ultimate walking artillery battery, Behemoth. In travel mode, Behemoth has 2 active weapons. But what happens when you press the ability? 1, 2! Behemoth digs into the ground, unfolding 2 extra arms. You cannot move in this mode, but should you even care, while boasting 4 heavy dragoons or fluxes? You certainly shouldn't. Look at this target dummy becoming pulverized in the blink of an eye. And please mind that Behemoth is also effective against moving adversaries, as long as they are in direct sight. Important note to everyone seeing Behemoths in their platoon. Protect them at all costs. That will positively affect your DSC's social appreciation score. Not to mention that together, you can wreck the hell out of...
Okay. Let's cut it here. That was a standard case of DSC being DSC. What else? Aha! Icarus is about to show something new as well.
We at Icarus Technologies are proud to be the pioneers in manipulating time and space for the sake of the humanity's future. And once again, we are proving our leadership with our next big breakthrough, the first ever walking robot that can teleport, Phantom. Let's see how it works. By using the ability, Phantom leaves a small device behind. We call that device a translocator. You can teleport to it just by using the ability again. While the translocator is active, Phantom takes less damage and moves faster. That makes the ability a great tool for daring engages even under heavy fire. Here, Phantom makes amazing use of elevation on a derelict dreadnought, dropping on top of the enemies and teleporting back to safety. You can also use Translocator to lure enemies away from important targets. They don't see it, so they never know what you're up to. Look at this non-Icarus robot chasing the Phantom. It gets nothing while also losing the beacon. Poor thing. For best results, use close combat weapons on Phantom. Try Halo, Gust, Shredder, or Blaze for light slots. Storm, Piranha, Scourge, and Igniter work well in a medium slot. Attention, some opponents may feel like they are lagging when they fight you. This is very much by design. The effect was conceived by Icarus, top-of-the-line psychologist.
Well, that might turn into something fun. I wonder how people will use this walker. Now, Evil Life, go on, entertain me. What the?
Ooh. Go on. Ask me. I also have my special hat that will show me will show everyone that I'm going from the person who speaks about game mode to a person who speaks about all the different stuff that we're writing.
Some storylines, lore.
Yes. And I have my beautiful non-branded
a cup of coffee.
Cup of decaf, just to say. It's important to mention coffee. That is not going to pump me up in any way, but actually I'm excited to speak about this. So you begin.
So what's so special about these robots?
So, what's so
Finally.
special about these robots? Should I change my voice as well?
I don't know.
Okay. So
who is Behemoth? Maybe tank or maybe damage dealer?
So there are two things that I'm going to specify about these robots. First, this pack is different. Why? Obviously thematically, because before we were trying to, and we actually based our robots around some specific real world themes, some cultural things, for example, Ao Jun, Ao Guang, and dragons in general are based around Chinese dragons.
Yeah, ancient
Pantheon.
dragons.
Yes, she knows a lot about them.
My favorite.
Yes, and Pantheon, they are all built around Greek mythology, but these three robots that you could see, in this case two, they're all inside the game lore. So they are made by in-game factions that we introduced with pilots back then. And the first one, Behemoth, is for DSC, Defense and Security Conglomerate, which is basically the faction of really big buff dudes that are
soldiers.
They're professional soldiers, right? And the second one, Phantom, is for Icarus, the faction of that is they are basically cyborgs. They use all the different kind of body modifications. They have all these beautiful steel hands, metal arms. Yeah, they can use it to grab things like this cup of coffee. I'm going to take a sip to slow down a little bit. And then this is the first part of this thing. So we had a lot of fun like devising like this video to make it more or less in theme. We wanted to, it's some kind of like satirical in a way, but we still wanted to show the characters of these factions. Anyway, the second thing that is different for these robots, before, when we were coming up with new ideas for new robots, we were playing around with some things that, like, for example, wouldn't it be cool to make the robots with like huge shields that they can bring with them in the battle? Or wouldn't it be great to have a robot that can fly, or a robot that can repair other robots, and so on and so forth. This time we went with more like in-depth approach in that asking ourselves the question, like, what kind of robots, what kind of roles we actually need to fill with the new robots.
You mean special niches?
Yes, this kind of stuff. So before we, if you remember, we had like light, medium and heavy robots, and this classification, like, we went away from it, and now we have some kind of internal, like, we come up with a new categorization for robots, and we are using a lot of data in what kind of playstyles people use their robots in. So for example, if we take a Bulwark, initially we conceived this robot as a tank. But our data shows that people tend to put more of a long-range weapons on this robot and use it as a sniper. And
not a brawler at all.
Yes, and obviously in war robots, not the robot itself, but the weapons you use on this robot define the role. But in most cases, like in terms of metagame and how people use it, people tend to use these particular like types of robots for particular types of gameplay. They for heavy, slow robots, they tend to use like more sniper weapons.
Yeah,
so
long-ranged.
I talk about this like way too much. So for example, we have snipers, we have saboteurs, basically robots that deal some damage, but they also put a lot of emphasis on their movement abilities. So for example, we can take Pursuer. It's more of a sniper, more of a saboteur, but it also links to another class, which is basically a damage dealer. Spectre, Ares, they are all damage dealers. They are focused around dealing as much damage as possible and removing the target out of the game immediately. Yeah. And there are some other classes that I'm not going to go in depth because we still are theorizing, like making theories what kind of classes that actually make sense. But anyway, if we take these robots, where do they fit? I believe you asked me that.
Well, you're just
so,
talking.
Let's imagine that you asked me that, and I answer like, okay, where do they fit? Where? So Behemoth is obviously a sniper. It's similar to Fury, but it has one obvious downside, that it has to stay stationary to use all the 4 heavy weapons that it has. I mean, 4 heavy weapons is a lot. Is a ton of firepower. It's way more than you could ever have on your Spectre, which also has 4 heavy or medium weapons. It's a lot, but 4 heavy weapons, that's much more.
It's a huge firepower.
Yes, but you still have to stay stationary to use it effectively. And this is, on one hand, it's a downside, but if you know how to use this robot, for example, using the protection from your team, you can be like a huge powerhouse.
Yeah. You mean like if you're playing in a squad, whereas your professional teammates who can protect you, and so you're super effective in a battle.
Yes, exactly. So if you play with a squad or your clan, it's well, people from the opposite team are going to hate you. Like I know the group on Facebook that is called War Robots Brawlers. I think they're going to go on like some kind of like vendetta after that. They're going to hate me after that, but okay, this is the robot, the first robot, the sniper. So, and the second robot.
The second robot is just very awesome. It's a Phantom.
Yes, as you know, I'm a huge fan of all the wonky robots that you can do some plays that instantly go to YouTube. Like, look how he uses his Strider to screw up with the whole enemy team or something like this. This is the kind of gameplay that I actually adore and many people actually adore. It's like, okay, Phantom. It's as you could have guessed, it's a saboteur. It has some, it has good firepower to light one medium slot, but the key power of this robot is its ability.
Yeah.
So
Translocator.
let me anyway, the translocator. Okay.
Just imagine, we have a translocator here, and we have a Stan. Stan is far away from.
We haven't released this robot yet, so
Yeah.
I doubt he will come back. But after 5.3, we can bring Stan back any
Yep.
time. Anyway,
With the help of translocator.
the translocator it is great in that regard that it unlocks a huge potential for playmaking. For example, in the
No.
for example, let's use. I don't think that we will ever need this phone on the stream like ever again. So I'm going to use it like as my like material to show how everything works. So for example, my favorite thing to do is actually like imagine this is Phantom, and this thing. Do people see it? Yes. Oh, okay. See. This is Phantom. Phantom leaves the translocator and runs away from, like, for example, Ares. And then Ares, like, woo, I'm Ares, I'm going to kill you. And then it steps on the translocator, goes, and then Phantom just teleports on the place on the translocator, for example, under the dome of Ares absorber. And then it just goes, like, ham on it. And there's a lot of this kind of mind games that unlock with translocator. For example, you can jump from the bridge and people just think that you are dead, and then you come back. There's a lot of stuff you can do. So it's a really fun robot to play, and I think in the good hands it will be really powerful.
Yeah.
So this was my, how would you say? This was the section of me and my robots, and I can get rid of this hat immediately.
Oh no lore anymore.
No lore? I mean, we can add some lore, but we'll get back to this like later.
Yeah.
If there are only questions.
So, are you ready to move on?
Coffee.
So, let's move on. And we also have a rebalance.
Yes,
That
rebalance. Sorry.
That's one of the most important parts of our 5.3 update.
It's quite controversial for some people.
It's quite controversial.
For many people, I'd say.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about this like right now on this stream. So where do you want me to begin?
I'd like to ask you, what's going on? What tweaks?
That's a great question. I have no idea. You know, I'm sorry.
So let's begin
I
with.
had to do this.
Let's begin with Orcans. Let's begin with
okay.
Orcans and let's check what have we nerfed and what have we buffed.
Okay, I'll go through the main points here because there's another thing that we also discussed at the beginning of the year, that we're going to have like not regular rebalances. I mean, not every single update, but like once in 3 months or so. So this is the time for our summer rebalance, and yes, this is something that people really want to hear from us about Archons, Ghasts, and Terrans.
So can you explain the main idea of this rebalance? So why did we choose Orcans and Terrans? What did they do for us?
What did they do wrong?
Why them?
So the point is, with Arcan and Ghasts, these weapons are very prominent everywhere in all leagues, in all builds. They are very like versatile. You can use them in every single situation and still be effective with them. Whilst many other items, they are more niche, and the thing is, you don't even need to consider other weapons when you have Orcans. So we want people to use more of the different items, and this is why we are pushing these items into more not just niche, because you are still getting around the same DPS with Arcan and Ghast, but the point is you have like lesser time frames in which you are going to shoot. Like for example, before we had the pattern like rocket, reload. Now you have reload, and like this way before you shoot longer, but reload longer as well. Now you shoot less, but reload faster as well. So you can just go for hit and run mode and fight, deal damage, and then go back.
So we decrease the capacity.
We decreased the capacity, but increased the reload speed.
Time.
We decreased reload time. We improved reload time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
the point is, we want to give people who face lots of Orcans to give a chance to more chances to fight back. So you, instead of just continuously shooting against the enemy, both on Gust and Orcan,
Instead of sustained damage, you deal.
you go for like short bursts of time. You shoot, you reload, you go back, you shoot again. So this is the point, this is what we want to achieve with this thing. With Tehran, there's a little bit different thing, because it actually lost some DPS in the process. We increased the delay between shots to make it so you have to stay, you have to have your enemy inside for a little bit longer, so it is more of a sustained weapon. Yes, this is going to be like a quite controversial change, because when we, for example, change something to like less popular weapons, people generally might don't care, but yes, everyone has Orcans, everyone has Terrans, and we feel your pain. We know that this is going to be like somewhat ground shaking for some of you, but I believe if this is the right thing to do in this case, and most of you will get used to it, some will adapt, some will move to something else. And this is not the point, like we are not going to make Orcans or Terrans or Gast like completely useless. They're still very strong, but they are just for different kind of situations.
And different niche.
Anyway, we will still have time to buff them back if something goes wrong. We still had a lots of like testing, and it was alright.
Guys, as for me, game meta is a changing system. So
yes, so we're giving it like a slight nudge, so people want to try if there's something else going on in their hangar, because lots of people have like great weapons like stings, wasps, vipers, and others, and they just don't use them because why even bothering? Once again, it's not about just making these weapons useless, it's making them a little bit more different.
Yeah.
So to the next things, less controversial ones.
Terrans.
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 I just told you about them.
Yeah, Terrans. Why Terrans?
Let's just go to Raven.
Yeah.
Raven.
Because you can equip your Raven with Terrans. That's why I mentioned Terrans.
Ah, you wanted to make a smooth segue, and I just destroyed it outright. I'm a terrible person, you know. So, Raven. I'm going to take my head back, but there's no lore, so I'm returning this head where it belongs. So Raven, what are we doing with Raven? Raven is a great robot for
what?
For what? For doing trick jumps, for example?
For jumping.
Yes.
For capturing beings.
Yes, this kind of stuff. But the thing is, we designed initially Raven as some kind of like very mobile, very high risk, high reward robot. It can jump in, it can immediately jump out, and so on and so forth. But at this point, if you want a similar playstyle, you might want to go with, for example, Falcon, because it also can jump in and do a lot of damage, but it gets more for jumping and opening itself to all from all sides, just from going out of the cover. So Falcon for the similar playstyle is a much safer choice. So that's why we are giving a Raven a reason to jump in rather than bounce out. We are adding to the ability. Every time you jump, you receive a plus 20% damage increase for 8 seconds. This bonus doesn't stack. I mean, if you jump and you still have this bonus active, the next time you jump, you will still have plus 20% damage increase, but the duration will get refreshed, obviously. But it is still a pretty significant increase, especially if you're going with, say, Arcans or other burst weapons. We also increase the durability of Raven and a little bit give them a little bit of speed. So with pilots, I believe it's going to be a really strong pick. If you have one, maybe it's a good time to start practicing your skills with jumping in, jumping out, and so on.
Okay. And another one.
My favorite
Another one robot is Ares.
Not just Ares,
Ares.
actually. There's a whole like Pantheon pack. What are we going to do with them? Obviously, Ares is a very prominent robot in higher leagues, in Masters and Champions and so on. And while it is everywhere, and everyone says like, "Oh, it's everywhere! Go nerf them because they're annoying. We hate them." We definitely didn't want them to be useless.
Yep.
So we had to find some other way to make them more manageable for other players. So we were looking for some place where we can add some counterplay, some ways to fight it with some tactics and some skill. So the solution came from the absorber itself. I mean, when you turn on the absorber, you always get like ultimate defense. You always receive like extra damage from the inbuilt weapon, and you lose nothing. Maybe you lose the cooldown, but that's it. So now, I mean, in 5.3, every time that you will turn on the absorber, your Ares will slow down by a third. On one hand, it will still be the Ares, the one you know and love, but it will give other players
an opportunity
to fight you, actually.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you have like some Hellburners, yeah, you can jump under the Ares train and try to blow them up. You have a better opportunity to do this. We also gave this thing to Nemesis and Hades in a slightly lower degree because they are slower than Ares. They slow down by 20%, not 33%. And we also buff their durability and give them a little bit of movement speed, just to make them more on par with Ares. So if you want, for example, in event, being that Nemesis or Hades, or like Imperial Hades, which is great but not used all that much lately, you can get more use from these robots if you want.
So, it's not a full list of our tricks.
There's one more.
Yep.
Let's talk about it.
You mean user-generated content?
No, I mean last freaking stand.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay,
no,
last stand. My favorite thing. Yeah. Not because it actually makes you invincible. I mean, the change that we made actually to last stand. The idea about changing
very simple.
The idea is very simple, and it actually came from our players. For example, like Manny in his video was talking a lot about like how should we fix last stand.
Yeah, maybe you remember his video from, I guess, he posted it on January about last stand. So it was about last stand indicator.
So yes, the thing about last stand is that I believe this is what scares most people like the most. Is that you never know when the enemy has last stand.
Yeah.
I mean,
whether it is activated or not.
Yes. Your best bet is just to play like enemy always has last stand and just play around it. So this is what makes last stand so strong and so what's the right word? Like insidious in a way. And instead of like nerfing this module like outright by reducing the duration of the effect and so on, we just decided to give you more information that would allow you to fight around it, to play around it. So
it's all about mind games.
We can show it on the screen, I believe, right?
Yep.
So right now, if the enemy has the last stand, you can see it on the enemy's durability bar. If this part of the durability bar is tinted by like the darker tone, it's clearly the case of enemy having the last stand.
Yeah.
Like right now, the person just I'm playing against used phase shift module, which is also going to be released in 5.3. And now, as you see, like these arrows, we can just go a little bit back to illustrate this.
Yeah.
Like you see here, in a second. Yeah, let's go from phase shift, and I just damage him, and yeah, last stand activates. And you know that enemy has the last stand, and you know that now it is active, and now I can actually fight him and finish him off. So I believe, and our testing has shown that it actually changes a lot in the way how you approach the game, because the information that you have from this change allows you to, for example, bait the effect out and then hide, then wait until it's over, but you will actually know when you go back in the fight and finish the opponent off.
So, it's was it the last thing?
I believe this is the last thing that we wanted to discuss this time. There are some other changes, like lesser changes. For example, we buff Redeemer, I believe, a little bit. And you will see the full list of balance changes in the full patch notes that we're going to publish on the website. So stay tuned. We're going to publish them in the day of the release, which is going to happen once again. 5.3 is going to land in August.
Maybe in the middle of August.
In the middle of August. Yeah, this is a safe bet.
So.
Okay, so should we move to the thing people send us?
Yeah, not long ago we had a very interesting art contest. We asked people to choose their team, Linda Kano's team and Jade's team.
Just if you have missed it. Oh, I can actually use my hat.
Lower
So
part.
lower hat, okay.
Lower hat.
So Linda Kano and Jad Parks, two pilots that we released with Among the Stars event in this exact update. So these two guys are like fire and water and so on and so forth. Anyway, there too are bounty hunters that, not just bounty hunters, they collect all the different things that are left on the Earth when people left it for Mars. Linda is more like an art geek, so she collects all the different art pieces and sells it for lots of money. And if we take Jad, he's more of like technology person, so he takes all the like pre-cataclysm robots that were created like long ago and also sells him for a huge fortune. And this is what we base this contest around, like from around two ideas. On one hand, we have like Linda's like obsession with art. On another hand, we have Jad and his idea that like technology is everything, and I'm going to collect all these like little tiny precious things with cogs and like joints and so on. So one thing that I can spoil for you, that people mostly preferred Linda, maybe because she's a girl. Maybe
because people prefer art. Because it was art versus technology.
I believe this is, I came up with a good explanation for this. I mean, it's an art contest after all.
Yeah,
so
it's an art contest, yeah.
If it was like a technology contest, like create something and send it to us, like hope it won't be a bomb or something like this. I believe this is when Jad would win. Anyway, let's look at this. Let's look at the winners' works, right?
Yeah. Let's start with posters from Weibo platform. So winner.
China.
Yeah.
Let's just comment it, okay?
Yeah.
The first one
is about
Linda. What does it say here?
It's about Linda 战队. It means
she knows
that
Chinese actually.
It means that it's Linda team.
Ah, okay. It's another one of the Lana's talents. I mean, I can just sit here in. I can just sit here in. I mean, yes, it's a skill, hardly like developed skill, and she can speak 3 languages, I believe, and I can sit here in a dumb hat and speak about lore and drink coffee, decaffeinated.
No. So let's see all these awesome works.
So this one is from
China.
as well.
too.
This one is really. I mean, it looks like some kind of magazine.
Yeah. It looks like a fashion
magazine
journal.
cover. I'd say it's more like a gaming journal. I mean, gaming
Maybe
magazine.
fashion gaming journal for girls.
For gamer girls.
For
Fashion for gamer girls.
For geek girls.
Art geek girls.
Yeah, art geek girls.
I mean, it really looks like a magazine cover. This one.
And this one looks like an.
She's like some kind of religious figure.
Yeah.
She's a
kind of.
She's going to take you and show you like the way to what exactly?
I don't know.
To some kind of, I believe. What can you look for? To enlightenment. Yes, that's the right word. Let's go for the next one.
Let's go. So.
This one in Russian.
Yeah.
This one from Vkontakte.
Yeah. Sorry, from Russian platform.
The words say «Сражайся за Линда Кейно, жизнь коротка, путь искусства долг». So
the
it
life
says,
is short.
Yes, so it says, fight for Linda Kano, the life is short, but the road of the art is long.
Yeah.
If it makes sense.
It's a torrent.
This is actually a really great one
So,
because you can see here there's a terracotta army. This is the thing that's in the story. This is what she was.
There is one interesting point. So I see Mars and I see the Earth. So
where is she
where
actually?
is she?
Maybe this is one
Jupiter.
of the maybe it's one of the Martian satellites, like
yeah.
Phobos, Deimos, all this stuff. So
that's correct.
Let's keep going. This one is a little bit like squeezes her a little bit.
It's like her.
Like she looks like really thin here, but I love the choose of like symbols.
Symbols and the color.
It's very girly.
Yeah, it's girly. And
finally, we have
Jet.
You go, Jet.
Yeah.
Jet Parks.
Jet Parks
This
from
one is.
Jet Team.
This one is really good. I mean,
he looks so serious.
And I love how the portrait blends with the background. The choose of colors here is like really great. So it's a great work.
Wow.
Linda
Linda Kano and Ancient Egypt.
So on top there are again Russian words.
Yeah.
Охотники за историями, which means lore hunters.
Lore hunters, yeah. And this artwork is really awesome.
What's going on here? Oh, I now see.
Is it a Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it's a Game of Thrones reference, either Game of Thrones or Warhammer reference.
Yeah, or Warhammer.
Because I mean, it took me some time to actually see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because there are tons of like lines and they look like
it's
really
kind
chaotic.
of a philosophical histories.
You know what it reminds me of? There was a time in the. There was a time at the beginning of 20th century when there were a lot of great illustration artists for books. There were great people like Arthur Rackham, I believe there was a name, and lots of different people like Jon Bauer. And this one is like something from this exact period. It looks great.
It looks great. Linda Kano saving Earth is art.
I can imagine that I enter some kind of like cathedral and I look like there. I actually hate looking there because
just like I'm in Italy.
Yes. So whenever I go into cathedrals and look upwards, I also always get like very dizzy because I instantly imagine that there are like figures on top, and what would happen if someone would put me there? I would die of scary. It was scary. I'll be that scared. Okay.
I've never thought about it.
Now you will. You will too.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So the art is long, but life is short.
Once again, I really like the work with colors and like these flower patterns. They're great. This is amazing.
Yeah. Then another one.
Let's look at this another time. I just want to appreciate. It's a great one. Yes.
Yep. She looks cool.
Another one.
Another one is like her. I I don't know, it was like a Avengers poster
Now,
or something.
here we actually remember that the War Robots is actually a game about fighting robots.
Yeah.
There are robots, explosions, rockets everywhere, and the person.
Yeah.
Heroes make epic victories possible. Makes sense.
And this glamorous, very
War
elegant.
is really glamorous,
No. Linda is very glamorous.
and she makes the war really glamorous.
So, next one.
Not a huge fan of that,
Next one.
but huge fan of that work. It's great.
Wow,
Ooh,
it's just perfect.
the art will make you go like Super Saiyan. The
Yeah.
art will make you superhuman. The art will make the volcanoes
X-Men.
erupt. The art will make your eyes glow red. And maybe she is some kind of like. She looks great.
She reminds me
It fits
a
her.
superhero.
I believe it's super villain. I believe this is something that would
Maybe-
a Jad fan would make. So
Maybe it's because Jad has just stolen her. Has just
stolen,
stolen her maybe treasures.
and she's like very
Yeah.
angry.
What's going
Well,
on?
this is the way to look at it. This is how actually supervillains are being made.
Yeah.
You just steal, like you kill someone's dog. It was a John Wick reference, just in case. Let's keep going, shall we?
Technologies.
I love this one!
Yeah.
Because...
It's...
Keep going?
Why?
Ah.
Why do you like this one?
First of all, because this is not something... this is like a different take on Jad, because on his original portrait,
Yep.
he looks like somewhat cocky and somewhat arrogant, and here he's like, wow, I have this little tech thing, and I can press the buttons, and I'm enjoying my time here. I'm having a great freaking time, because the technology is the key to the future.
Yeah. And he looks like the main character of a very cool cartoon.
Yeah, it's a very lovely visual style that the author has chosen. It's a great
Yep.
poster, I love it.
I love it too.
So,
So,
was that the last one?
it was the last
Yeah,
one.
there were plenty of other works that people sent us, and these are like our big winners, like the winners of all. And thank you for sending us all these beautiful posters, and that was great. Thank you. So
Yeah,
should
It was
we
really,
move
it was really interesting.
on to the questions? Because we're streaming for about 1 hour already.
Yep.
And we have some time for, I believe, some questions. So, shall we see what I have? I've been trying to follow the chat through the entire stream, and people are still sending us their IDs. I believe these were like only one time per person. This doesn't increase your chances, guys. But still, I have found some questions. So the first one from Emilia Otarola. I'm trying to show it on screen. Will it work? Unfortunately, not this time, so I'm just going to read them out loud. So Emilia Otarola asks us, what about Ragnarok Squad? Are you going to add it soon? I believe the question is about a workshop. Are we going to add the Ragnarok to Tyr, Loki, Fenrir to our workshop? And
So
the answer
everyone can
is
produce them.
yes. And the answer is yes, we are going to add them to workshop, and we're going to add them pretty soon. But unfortunately, I don't have the exact date when we're going to do this. I believe somewhere in between 5.3 and 5.4, but stay tuned for the news. The next question.
So, next
Can you read it?
question is, can you do a funny skirmish where Kazakhs are super tanky and invaders are the opposite?
This is like, okay. You have
It's-
something to say? Go for it! Go for it! Don't be shy!
I'm a camera shy girl. It's a very interesting idea. So why don't we ask
Why don't we bring it to
yeah,
our
to our
game
game
design team?
designers and just ask them?
This is one of my favorite type of skirmishes where you have some kind of like wonky concept and go with like, what if everything was like, what if we make the opposite of what we have right now. So, for example, we make invaders like huge. We had a skirmish with giant shoots and tiny spiders.
Yeah, and I remember one more crazy idea about when Fujins were just jumping.
Yes, I believe we had something like this, but I don't quite remember. But yeah, I think we can bring this idea to our game design team, and maybe they will introduce it in some future update. We also have. No, I'm going to spoil it right now. No, I'm not. I've been specifically said to not spoil it on this stream, so I won't. Anyway, Alexandre Rocha. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but for these person spelling the names that aren't like Alexander Ivanov is kind of a challenge. So anyway, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. So Alexander Rocha asks, what was the use of you increasing the time of the videos, if also increasing the time of? I mean, I believe the question is about the ads in the game.
Yep.
So actually we wanted to talk about this and we kind of forgot at the beginning, so this is the time we actually addressed it. So what's going on with the ads?
Lots of people asked us about ads, what's going on.
My beautiful decaf coffee has... I finished it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting you with this dumb stuff. This was like for some extra flashiness, so you can...
So what's going on with our ads? Is it a maintenance or... Yes,
we're currently having some kind of like behind the scenes work with ads, actually making them work as they should. And currently we set some kind of limit for the ads you can watch daily, but also in the meantime we make different options. I mean, not options, but we increase the value of every single ad you can watch. So, for example, before you had only 20 minutes reduced from upgrades for every single ad, but now you get 60 minutes, so full hour. So you watch 4 ads, you get 4 hours immediately cut off. And we're going to play around, I'm not sure if play around is the right word here, but we're going to tweak these options over the course of the upcoming few years, so it's going to be a little bit shaky. Yeah. So it's not entirely set in stone, but if you see that something has changed, do not worry, we are not going to remove ads, we are not going to take what you get from your ads away. There's some behind the scenes work. There are some behind the scenes works, and we are fixing stuff with time.
We read your comments and we feel your pain. So.
And yes, our apologies for not telling you what's the right word before it actually happened.
Yeah. For no information about it.
So now I believe we went through it. I hope this answered your questions.
We covered this topic and I hope everything will be fine.
Let's keep going to the next question. The chat is very fast once again. I think we have time for like 2 or 3 more questions or posts. This one I like. Read it.
Okay. Stan's performance here is a little flat.
Hashtag
dad jokes.
Nicholas Tangay. So, I almost forgot about this thing. This is I really want to make another joke about this thing, but I believe this will be more dad than that. So, maybe I should actually embarrass myself just to make everyone feel better about themselves. So, but I forgot my joke. I really forgot. I'm sorry about this. So, the next question. Let's try to find some of these like in real time. This is going to be masterclass.
What? 6,000 comments.
So what do we have here on YouTube? YouTube.
Nice Russian hat.
YouTube. Nice Russian hat. It's not. Well, let's say it's Russian. By the way, I forgot one thing. There was like further robot in the video, right?
Easter egg. Do you remember the last one creature, the weird monster
Yeah.
in the end of the video?
You can just rewind back to the moment when we have shown you the video about junior robots. There was
Even
actually
live
one
fraction.
Yes, there was one little bit of the third robot that is going to be included into this exact pack, but it's going to be released a little bit later. So, I'd say first three viewers of the stream who will guess the name of this robot correctly, they will also receive tier without any randomness or anything else. So we will just go through the logs and find these three persons, and around Monday or Tuesday with everyone, when we will pick randomly all the winners, we will send you the tier. So go on, do your like wildest guesses and tell us what's
his real
robot.
name?
What's his real name? His name is Ivan. It's a terrible name for a robot. Actually, it's actually a great name of a robot. I mean, okay, let's keep going. Robot romance. There was a question about robot romance. Actually, it's a great idea. I mean, it's about time when someone would make a dating sim with robots, and I think someone already made it. There was a dating sim with dating simulator with tanks. There was a dating simulator with pigeons, I believe.
But why?
Because I mean,
Because they can.
because some people ask about it, so why not? There's a
I
demand
see.
for this kind of stuff.
Actually, I see some questions.
Uh,
Can this make all the spider robots able to climb up vertical structures?
okay, can you please make all the spider robots able to climb vertical structures? Not at this point. We were thinking about it. This is what was
It's
in our
controversial.
minds for quite a while. But at this point, why we don't do this? There are two reasons. First, we will actually have to redesign all our maps to
Yes.
accommodate for this. So, I mean, if you will be able to climb every single obstacle in the game, I mean, there will be plenty of situations where, for example, I mean, let's imagine that on, I'd say, Dreadnought. This is one of the maps where we have a biggest height difference. It's the most vertical map that we have, but it was designed with this in mind because you can actually fight against someone who is on top of the structure, on top of the Dreadnought.
And now you just can climb up all the structures.
For example, yes.
It'll break the game.
In a way, yes, because for example, if we take Valley, I believe, if you go to the highest point on the map, it will be really hard to to fight against you. You will be like, especially annoying as some kind of like, for example, like if you take Fujin and take sniper weapons, people will actually hate you for this. There's some fun in that, but this will break the game's dynamic in many ways.
Yeah.
So we don't do this for now, maybe later. It's a good idea.
Can you add more feature like voice to communicate each team and add a report button for players who doesn't play it well for a team and relevance team?
The question is about when are we going to add voice communication first and report button for players that you actually didn't like. Both of these things we actually consider, and for example, report button is something that we were thinking for quite a while. I cannot say when we're going to implement this.
But we consider it.
Yes, and for voice communication, at this point, the best we can give you is just suggest you to go to, for example, find the Discord channel and find a team that you would like to play with, because this is your best bet. If there's another reason why adding something like voice communication to the game is kind of a challenging thing, because at this point we can, for example, moderate chat. For example, we can find all the cases of abuse or using like
or harassment
or using of like harsh language and so on and so forth. With voice, it's way harder. So of course you can opt in or opt out from using it. We're not going there at this point. maybe we'll get to this later. Can we have a cave map? So the map that is actually mostly inside some kind of structure. Ooh, that's a fine idea to consider, but once again, we are not going to add any maps beside maybe one this year. As we've already told you that we put all of our focus, all of our attention.
Okay.
Attention. I believe with this kind of pronunciation, people are going to make lots of memes of this.
It's a Friday evening.
Anyway.
It's Friday evening and you're tired. So
it's actually really really hot in here. You
Yeah.
can say by like this how much I shine. So anyway, we put all of our attention into remaking the old maps instead of making the new ones. So you will soon see the fruits of our work in this direction. How soon? I won't tell you for now, but soon.
but no promises.
Okay, I think we have time for the last question. Let's go, let's find something good. Do something challenging, something that people will actually find, fun to get answered. Okay, this is the question I like. I like this nickname, but I can't pronounce it.
So many letters.
I'll try. I'll do.
SZOROS.
Klezgzoros. That was a good try, in my view.
It was a nice try.
Thank you.
You're good.
I'm trying my best. Anyway, the question is, can you tell us something more about Bastion, the spider, and will we see the ghosts again? So the question is about the Bastion, the robot that was actually the precursor to Raijin and Fujin. If you try to Google it, War Robots Bastion, you will find quite a bit on this unreleased robot. And the question was, are we going to release to it, to get back to it? Maybe. And the second part of the question, could you remind me? I
was just seeking for another one question.
So, will we see ghosts again? So, by ghosts, this was the reference to the, like, 2 or 3 Halloweens ago.
Yeah.
We had an event where...
I guess in 2017?
2016.
2016, yeah.
This was the year when I came to
Pexonic.
Oh, yeah. This was my first year at Pexonic, so I remember it like very clearly.
It was my first year at Pexonic too.
What a coincidence! Is there some kind of connection between us and ghosts? Anyway, in that exact Halloween event, we had ghost robots roaming around the maps, like making people's devices very crashy. So
crashy, creepy ghosts.
Yes, they added a lot of atmosphere to the maps, but they crashed quite a bit of devices, so we had to turn them off. But when they were available, they looked freaking amazing. So the question was, are they going back anytime soon? So the answer is maybe in some form, because this was a quite fun thing to remember at the very least. Whew. There's a question. Okay.
What about a robot from Evil Live that can mimic other robots' abilities?
You can read it out loud.
Yeah. Oh, when are Egyptian boats coming?
When are the Egyptian boats coming?
It's an interesting question.
There are 2 parts of this question. The first one, you seem frustrated by something.
Yeah.
You want to answer that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll do this. I'll do this. Anyway, this is the last question that we're going to answer. So the question is, what about a robot from Evil Life that can mimic other robots' abilities? So, for example, you take a robot that can take a retribution from Ares, or a robot that can steal, I don't know, what's the right word? The ability
Yeah,
with
this
changing weapons
Can transform into
from Butch or from the ability to transform from Ragnarok Squad, right? Well, that's a fun idea to consider. But if we take into account that most of these abilities are linked to the actual builds of the robot, so for example, you cannot make the robot change weapon sets if you don't have 4 slots like Botch or Doc or Jesse do. Or you cannot change forms like to, for example, Tyr if you don't have like these slots. Maybe it's a thing that we will try to do like in a year or 2 or something like this, because this is something that happens when you want to go like really crazy, like to break the game in all the conceivable ways. But right now we are going for something like more singular, more focused. I hate this word. It's really hard to pronounce in the right way. Anyway, we're going for something like more. Instead of taking other abilities, we want to make something that brings something like from itself.
Yeah, something new, something very
Yes.
special. So,
And Egyptian robots.
When are Egyptian robots coming? It's a very.
I'd
It's
like
kind of lore questions.
yes, this is the question to this
Related,
person
yeah.
in the hut right over here.
So, we saw a poster, Linda Kano.
You can be this person too if you want.
Okay. Thank you. So, we love these storylines. So
Change the
maybe.
voice, try to make it more like creaky.
So maybe one day Egyptian boats will be
come.
released.
Someday.
Yeah.
In some
Because-
timeline.
Because
Some year.
Egyptian myths are really, really awesome.
By the way, just the question for you, a lore person in a hat. If you would be picking from Egyptian like mythology, what
Okay.
gods you would like to see as a robot?
Maybe I don't know how it's pronounced correctly.
Say it
but
in like the
Isida maybe.
Isis.
Isis.
Yes.
Isis. So it's a goddess that gives a life.
They
Isis
show
or-
us like the wrong Isis. It's
I don't
not
know.
great.
It's
You
get
I hate Google.
So Google, please help us.
Let's look. Yes. it's the right pronunciation.
I don't like the gods of death because I love life.
It's actually right way to
Isis,
pronounce it.
yeah, Isis.
Thank you, Google.
She's great. She's great.
So what she would do? What do you think? What she would do in the game?
She will heal other robots.
Repair.
Heal and repair. Maybe.
So you would pick Isis, right?
Yeah.
Isida, how we pronounce it here. So, I would go with something like. I don't know how it's pronounced too. What? Let's see. Let's look for this in Russia first, and then we will try to call it the right way. It's called like just Bastet.
Yeah.
Bastet, like the cat goddess.
The gods of.
They're great.
Got it.
I hear what you want to say. And I'll check this
okay.
hat. So I mean, this would be a great thing for like saboteur robots, like to try and drop all the bases from the tables to, to crush some stuff and maybe eat some plants, because cats love eating plants that they shouldn't actually eat.
You know, we have
had a great experience with cats.
Very, very weird idea. That's why we are not game designers.
Yes. We have no plans in the game, in a way. When we're at some, we will add the cat robot, I believe. So, I'm done with this. Isn't it a time to wrap us for us? Say something.
Hello.
Hello. So this was a great round of questions, I believe, and I hope that we answered them
Most
in
of them.
in a satisfying way, and we're
Maybe not.
thank you for coming to the stream. Thank you for asking your questions. Thank you for like joining us in and trying to have this kind of conversations.
Thank you for being with us. So next time, Stan will be back.
He will.
He'll
Or
he'll
will
definitely
he?
be back.
It's actually just this kind of this picture. This is all that we have left of Stan. This is Stan. Meet him. No, I'm not going to remove it. It's actually a great laptop cover that I am having made. That I have made customly by myself. So only $99.99, and you can have it in the same beautiful look. And this is my own business, not affiliated with Pixonic in any way. And obviously this is a joke, so I hope I won't get fired for this. Don't fire me, please. And thank you for watching us, guys.
Thank you for watching.
And see you next time.
Yeah. Next time you'll see
Until next
Stan.
time. See ya.